Hi friends, it's Victor Costa, Peace, Love, and Muscles. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having an outstanding day. Thank you so much for subscribing to this newsletter. I really appreciate that. I want to talk to you today about the concept and idea of bulking and then cutting. You know, a lot of people, in my experience, really have this entire process go awry, right? They gain weight, they try to eat as much as they possibly can, they take protein powders and shakes and weight gainers and everything, and they think that that's the rules to getting bulky. They think that that's what they're supposed to do to get bulky. And only later on to find that they feel a little bit uncomfortable. The weight kind of comes on fast. So there is this feeling of robustness and this feeling of strength that comes along with carrying a few extra pounds. I mean, feeling well fed really does make you feel a little bit more powerful, but it won't be long before the waistline gets a little bit sort of out of alignment with what you really wanted in the first place. And also, when the weight comes on really quickly, it sort of looks like a suit that you've borrowed, like when you were a little kid and you tried on your dad's suit. It doesn't quite fit you right. And it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. And then what happens is we try to take that away. We figured we've done our little bulking cycle, if you will, and now it's time to tear that away and see what's revealed, hopefully with a couple of more pounds of muscle. But later on, you just find that you're getting rid of the weight that you just put on from the bulking cycle, and not much has changed. So I really don't like that whole idea of trying to be, try to blast yourself up into something and put on this weight and this bulk, if you will, only to try to cut it down and try to change it into a different texture, or a different, or have it look a different way, or sculpt it. Now, there is an aspect to that that is important. You do have to have enough materials to work with. In other words, if I'm only eating 2,000 calories a day and it takes 2,000 calories per day to be Victor, and I go to the gym and I'm spending 500 calories there, there's a good chance that I'm not going to be growing anytime soon. Remember, I needed 2,000 calories in the beginning just to be Victor. Now I'm taking away 500 calories, leaving it on the gym floor, and expecting that my body is going to just yield to whatever I want because now it has only 1,500 calories to operate on. That's an unrealistic expectation. I'm going to have to eat over the 2,000 calories per day in order to use or to have some brick and mortar, if you will, to work with, right? So if it takes 2,000 calories a day just to be Victor, and then I'm exercising, I'm going to have to compensate for that calorie expenditure, or that energy expenditure, and still have some materials left to work with to sculpt my body and to grow and to build muscle and to put on muscle. So I think it's really unrealistic to try this bulk method, especially the dirty bulk method, which is sort of eating everything under the sun and not paying attention to what the components of the food are, and then trying to chisel that food away. In other words, trying to take a pizza and turn it into chicken and rice. It doesn't work that way, right? So what I would do if I were you guys, I would figure out the amount of calories that it takes just to be you, you guys and gals. The amount of calories that it takes just to be you. Your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, what it takes just to be John and Tina and Mark and Matthew and everybody out there. And then figure out how many calories you're spending at the gym, right? So in my view, a typical bodybuilding workout costs you about 500 calories. So you want to compensate for that amount of food or that amount of energy that you've just expended at the gym. So I would eat 500 calories on top of that. And now you've just broken even. Now you may need a little bit more to have a little bit more fuel in the tank. So let's call it 550 to 600 calories, right? So that's how I would play it if you indeed you want to go on some kind of a growth plan or a growth cycle. At least eat the amount of calories that you need to be you, and then compensate for what you're spending at the gym. And that's a great way to go. And again, I've tried this in the past where I've eaten a lot of food, kind of got bigger and felt a little bit uncomfortable. My pants fit snug and I felt a little bit stronger, and I was doing a few more reps at the gym, only to find that later on I didn't really like how it looked. And I was back to the drawing board of chiseling it away and trying to get back to where I was. So this is what I would recommend. I would never recommend a dirty bulk, ever. Always eat good, nutritious foods that have high, dense nutrition and really good micronutrient content, right? We want to eat good foods, and we want to use that as our brick and mortar, if you will, to work with. And then pay attention to your calorie or energy expenditure at the gym and try to compensate for that, and try to make, a real effort to do that. Instead of thinking about putting on just as much weight as possible and tearing it away and hoping that you've got a pound or two left of muscle, why not build it with integrity, build it with good quality food and good training? So that's what I would like to talk about. And then also, a lot of people think that there are these two separate routes. One route to getting big, which means eating more food, using heavier weights, and resting a little bit more between sets. And getting cut intimates that you have to deprive yourself, you have to do a lot of cardio and not a lot of rest between sets. So there's almost these two things that are pulling against each other, right? You want to get big, but it entails one sort of platform and way to get there, but getting cut sort of has a different route, if you will. One, it really entails a little deprivation, a little cardio, whereas getting bigger is heavier weights and a little bit more food. And how can you get big and cut at the same time? And I want to give you guys my theory on what I've done. If you choose the getting big route, right, and you're doing it with quality materials, quality food, quality brick and mortar, meaning the good nutrition, the micronutrients, the high density micronutrients, and you're eating clean foods, not complicated for the body to decode, whole foods, a lot of vegetables, some lean meats and things like that, and low glycemic carbohydrates, in my view, if you go for the bodybuilding route with using those materials, the cut will come along for the ride. But if you simply go for the cutting route, which is the cardio, the deprivation, the trying to chisel it all away, you're going to be sorely disappointed that the muscle, if you will, doesn't look like the same quality and texture, and you won't feel as strong. So I always say, go for the bodybuilding route with quality materials. Always do your cardio, but cardio means for the inside of the body. You want to walk, you want to do a little bike work. If you have, especially if you live in the suburbs and you're going from the car to the house all the time or the car to the office, you want to get out there a little bit, whether it's walking, whether it's biking, whether it's a little treadmill. And really just use the cardio to build up your cardiovascular system, not to shed weight or to get rid of the weight. Bodybuilding and putting muscle onto the body, in my opinion, is the best and most efficient fat burner. So I would 100% take the bodybuilding route, and the cut route will come along for the ride if you're using quality materials. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Peace, love, and muscles, and thank you so much for subscribing to this newsletter. I really appreciate it. Be well. Peace, love, and muscles. Take care. Bye. Hi friends, thanks so much for enjoying the video. I really appreciate it. Please take a look at the description portion of this video, as there's a free gift, a free biceps download workout. It's me taking you through your biceps workouts, counting out the repetitions, explaining the form, the technique, the cadence, and also switching things up and teaching you about bodybuilding in between the sets. I think you'll really enjoy it. Just go to the description portion of the video and you'll be able to download that workout for free. Peace, love, and muscles.